internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours Crypto. Let's get right in today's video as 2025 is approaching. Q3, Q4, unbelievable is the word that I'm going to use here, because the market is going to completely reward those individuals that have been patient for the past years and that have been accumulating. Congratulations. XRP is poised to be one of the most well-performed assets in the near future. As you can see right now, the markets are in the green. XRP is up 40% in the last 7 days, comparing it to Bitcoin, which is up 12%, and Ethereum up 10%. If we take a look at what assets have gained the most value in the past 7 days, we have WorldCoin at 49% and XRP taking the second spot at 40%. And congratulations to the ICP holders, which we have been talking about since $2-3. That is up 40% as well. In today's video, I'm going to show you the obvious. I'm going to tell you all the, whatever we talk about on this channel, none of it is nonsense. All facts. And today, we have hardcore evidence to back up what I said, and this is going to completely blow your mind. I've been saying this since day one. And for the OG individuals, you guys are going to want to smash that like button. Before we get into it, look at this mic drop. This is from the Digital Euro Association. As central banks around the world race to develop their own digital currencies, Ripple has emerged as a preferred partner for many, leveraging its proven XRP ledger technology. Ripple is collaborating with multiple governments to create CBDCs. And what did I tell you that Ripple has been doing for the past years? Creating a network of trust. And the XRP ledger itself, over the past 10 years, it has proven itself. Remember what I said? This technology has to prove itself in order to scale into the trillions. Oh my God. I'm just so happy for all the individuals that, believed in what I was talking about since day one, and it's actually being played out right now. It is very hard. It's incredible, to be honest with you. And just listen to what David Schwartz says here, just about CBDCs and having a neutral bridge currency, neutral asset. This is very important. Listen to exactly what they're saying here.
A CBDC, by definition, is going to carry the same capital controls, trade agreements, politics as its corresponding fiat currency did, and countries are not going to want to deal with another country's capital controls, nor should they. They're sovereign nations. If you're looking at cross-border, that key factor is interoperability. You're working across jurisdictions and across assets. You need a neutral asset in between different CBDCs, or your liquidity is going to be divided among the n-squared pairs of CBDCs. Similarly, if other assets, such as securities around the world, get tokenized, there's even more need for a neutral asset between multiple CBDCs and possibly a large number of new assets and new assets.
So imagine that you have a pair of currencies for which there is not a complementary demand. You need to go and search for a third-party currency in order to make this settlement actually happen.
You need a neutral asset in between different CBDCs.
And this really complicates things. So we need to put pieces of technology that can make more efficiency this use of liquidity so that more transactions can be settled.
So it just passes through that currency for that period of time.
And ladies and gentlemen, for the moment you have all been waiting for. Trump says he wants US in charge of crypto before China. This is going to be very interesting. Listen to this. First of all, remember what I said just 3 days ago, and I've said this since I've actually started my channel, but I always kind of like to tell you guys, to remind you guys that this is what's going on behind the scenes. And I told you again, listen to this. And they made it very clear that the Treasury believes that a payment system led by the private sector has the potential to be the forefront of innovation and allow for the most advanced payment system in the world. And I've said this since day one. They sued Ripple. They needed some time, and they know Ripple is a US-based company, and they need that leverage. Ethereum and Bitcoin is dominated by China, and nowhere near US has no control over Bitcoin and Ethereum. So now when you have an asset that's on your side like XRP that is about to unlock the internet of value, you better be praying that this entity stays here, and they wanted a grip on them. That's pretty much what it was. And wait until it plays out, and everyone is going to miss out on this opportunity that that don't try to understand this. I cannot stress this enough. And what's even more bullish here, you got to listen to what Ryan Zagone said here in 2018. I'm going to get into the Donald Trump interview transcript. You need to listen to what he says here about Bitcoin in China. This is just from yesterday. But Ryan Zagone, what he said back in 2018, and he was a part of Ripple regulatory relations, and it was also a part of the Federal Reserve's Faster Payment Task Force. At the same time, he was on with Ripple. What he says here, you guys have heard this before, but listen to it again, given all the progress that we have made in this industry. And bullseye. That's all I could say. Bullseye. And all the partnerships, like I said, all the progression that Ripple has made for the past years. Listen to what Ryan Zagone says here. This is incredible listening to it right now and how things are playing out.
You might still use proof of work.
Great. But I invite Ryan and Desiree, I don't know if you would like to comment on this as well. But Ryan, go ahead.
Proof of work doesn't work. Proof of work doesn't work. It's been widely... Ryan, proof of work's been working. Let me finish. Proof of work doesn't work.
Let him finish, please.
And in the early days of Bitcoin, there was a whole group of developers that broke off to create other assets, XRP being one of them, that doesn't use mining, that's cheaper from an energy perspective than Visa, and already scales to 1,500 transactions a second. A lot of these problems have already been solved. The challenge for adoption comes back to policy. The policy uncertainty around some of the assets has limited adoption, particularly here in the US. And I'm speaking from Ripple and XRP because we use that asset because it's a half a cent per payment. It's basically free. It scales and it's efficient. So 1,500 transactions a second at nearly no energy burn. So we're at a point today where there are real solutions to all of these challenges that already exist. Policy has become the challenge. And we heard on the first panel that around centralization on China, and this is going to be a hard pill for Peter to swallow. But 80% of the mining power for Bitcoin is controlled by 6 mining pools, 5 of which are in China. Today, the policy certainty in the US exists for Bitcoin and Ethereum, despite the fact those are China-controlled platforms. So activity goes to those platforms. What we need to do from a policy perspective in the US is look at the places where there are uncertainty. And one place, I'm speaking directly for me here, is XRP, where it looks like Bitcoin. It's decentralized, it's open source. We have 7% of the validation power on that, rather small in there. Grouping or giving clarity to those ones that are very similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, that have the same characteristics and should be classified the same way. And then we're creating a level playing field across all the cryptos. I'm not anti-Bitcoin or anti-Ethereum by any means. I think there's a lot of great potential and breakthrough there. But we need to have a level playing field so the market can pick which ones they want to use and not be, as today they are, hindered by regulatory uncertainty.
Wow, that is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and smash that like button. Some people may not understand, but the ones that do, things are going to get crazy. Donald Trump interview transcript. We have a currency problem, as you know. Trump says. Currency. When I was president, I fought very strongly and hard with President Xi and Shinzo Abe, who's a fantastic man, actually. You know the story there. And Trump has been talking about, currency wars for a very long time, and he was trying to make a level playing field. I'm going to play that in a second.
Of China, I believe that will all work out very well for everybody. China, Japan, the United States, and everybody in the region. As far as the currency devaluations. I've been complaining about that for a long time. And
that's what they're all trying to create here. You see how it's all, like XRP helps with this. It kind of breaks the barrier. Yes, we may see sanctions in the future. We'll see how all that plays out, but it is a neutral bridge asset that could just really create that level playing field. Like, this is unlocking the internet of value. This is a topic that we are all being educated on as we progress throughout this journey, right? So this is very important for you guys to understand from that perspective. And take a listen to what Trump says here about, getting into crypto first. If we don't do it, China is going to pick it up, and China's going to have it, or somebody else, but most likely China. And isn't it crazy what Ryan's going to say, right? Remember the executive order that I showed you guys in, I think it was yesterday's video or 2 days ago. This is when Trump was in the office. Remember, closed door conversations that took place. We may not hear about it, but look at what is being played out right here, right? Let's restart. If we don't do it, China is going to pick it up, and China's going to have it, or somebody else, but most likely China.
Around centralization on China. And it's going to be a hard pill for Peter to swallow. But 80% of the mining power for Bitcoin is controlled by 6 mining pools, 5 of which are in China.
China's very much into it. Also, it's not going away. It's amazing. I've gotten to know a lot of people, like even the meeting in San Francisco, Trump's June 6th fundraiser in San Francisco. Hey, maybe he stepped into the Ripple office. I went to San Francisco. I met many people that these are people that this is really becoming an industry for. And just bear with me, this is a transcript, so it's a little bit off. Now, if I throw it aside, it's going to be picked up in another country. He's talking about crypto. If we don't pick it up, someone's going to take dominance over it. Most likely China, he says again. They're pretty advanced. So you have to look at it. What I want, again, is what is good for the country. And this is what is being played out right now, okay? Ripple is going to be a very big company, believe it or not. And going into this regulated industry with financial institutions coming on board, clearinghouses coming in with all their money, they haven't really entered the market yet. Having an asset like XRP be, stamped USA and is providing that utility that connects 200 economies together, and that is assisting in moving value across all these different jurisdictions. I mean, that is a big deal, right? I mean, go ahead, take Bitcoin, but we have what's pretty much making the world go around, right? Connecting everybody together, making the economy run smoother than last time. That is very, very important. Please understand that. Anyhow, with that being said, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. I cannot believe the accuracy of what we talked about on this channel. As we go throughout this journey, all the topics that we talked about are all becoming into reality. It's incredible. And for the individuals that have followed me in this journey, and we will continue this journey until 10, 20, 30, 40, as long as you guys don't have what's called sudden wealth syndrome, then you guys could join me on this. With that being said, we'll be back with another video.
Used as a sort of universal bridge. And blockchains are what provide that level playing field so that...
And the liquidity in digital assets could be applied to actually make that much more democratized. A level playing field.
The bank is leveling the playing field between old and new.
And that implies clearly a level playing field.
Been losing hundreds of billions of dollars. We just want it to be a level playing field.
Making U.S. companies competitive. We need to create a level playing field.
Issue we need to address level playing field.
Whatever we do, we create a level playing field.
With the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.